Mundo, espero que todos estejam bem. É um prazer termos a Miss Jane Peck conosco hoje. Miss Jane, ela é uma treinadora canadense, está visitando por algumas semanas, trabalhando com a nossa equipe. Welcome, Miss Jane. I'm very, very grateful to have you with us for these weeks that we're going to be spending together, and also today here for this bear talk.
Okay, well, thank you. And I just want to say too, how it's a great pleasure to be here working with everybody from Maple Bear, with the teachers and the educators and all of the staff. And just a little bit about myself. So I do come from Canada. I come from Winnipeg, which is right in the very center of Canada. People probably know of it because it's so cold in the winter, but it's also very warm in the summer. But initially, I was actually born in England, and I came to Canada as a nanny. Actually, took care of children, which probably started off my teaching career. And in my teaching career, I now have well over 30 years experience working with children from all the way from kindergarten all the way up to high school. And the past 15 years, my role really has been working with children with special needs and just children who sometimes struggle in the school system. So I'm really happy to be here today to talk to you about cultivating autonomy and resilience and developing self-confidence in our children, which is so important.
It is really important because that's how parents and also the school staff can help. This is the main thing to help them develop their best, right?
Absolutely.
Should I have your presentation up?
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
So, cultivating autonomy, self-confidence, and resilience in our children. Autonomy and resilience are the most important skills that we can teach. We want our children to be successful and happy. Every parent wants that. We want them to have confidence. We want them to solve problems, have a positive outlook, be confident, be emotionally intelligent, which means knowing how to manage their emotions. Part of this resiliency means that they can bounce back when things aren't going so well for them, that they keep persisting at things. We also need our children to relate to others, to have good social skills, to take risks, make mistakes, and be independent, which means to have autonomy. So at Maple Bear, we use a gradual release of responsibility model for learning. And so teachers model for students, they guide students as they begin to use their knowledge and skills, and then step back to let teachers take on more responsibility for their learning while providing feedback and support. And it's called I do, we help and we support, and you do. For parents, the child says, show me, so we show them. The child says, help me, and we help me. And then the child says, let me. And that's when we have to let them go and try to do things on their own to develop that autonomy and independence. And through this process, students develop autonomy in their learning, develop confidence, independence, and risk-taking. So the gradual release of responsibility gives students the tools that they need to make meaning of their world and to approach learning with confidence. So how does all of this really apply? Well, parents, you are your child's first teacher. So they say, show me. They say, help me. And then they say, let me. So for our toddlers, for our early years children, for our young children, from birth, children are on a quest for independence. They want to try and do things on their own. Babies, we see them trying to spoon feed themselves, and they make a big mess. We see toddlers trying to dress themselves. They mimic us, and they also learn from us. So what we do as parents and also as teachers, we provide all of these opportunities to help to develop the child's independence, which is important for nurturing a sense of self and self-esteem. And I know it's very hard sometimes watching our young children and our toddlers desperately trying to put their socks on and trying to fasten their shoes and put them on and trying to dress themselves. And along with this comes their frustration and sometimes our frustration as well. But it's this frustration which builds tolerance, perseverance, and resilience. And eventually it builds autonomy. And of course, at times, we don't just let them become totally frustrated. We do step in to help them, and then we step back again to let them. Oops. Thank you. So as I said, it's hard to watch a child fail and feel frustrated or disappointed. Letting children carry out tasks means that the task will take twice as long and can be 3 times as messy. But we have to allow for that mess because learning is not always smooth. It is messy, and we have to allow for those mistakes because that's how children learn. And we nurture their confidence. We tell them, keep trying, keep doing that. You're doing great, to build autonomy and resilience. So resilience is at the root of being able to face adversity as they become older, to deal with stress with confidence and to know how to handle that stress, and also to thrive despite the obstacles, because we all know that in life we are faced with many obstacles and challenges, and we really do want our children to be able to handle those as they get older. So this means that as children, they need to know their own strengths and weaknesses. And this resilience only comes with nurture and support. And more importantly, which is what Maple Bear is all about for the early years, it comes with play. This is how they learn. So for children to develop socially and emotionally, cognitively, to build confidence and resilience, they need to play. And we see here some toddlers, they're playing, they're pouring water into a large container, and they're actually having a wonderful time. They're very curious about this. And children play by making make-believe to make sense of their world. Toddlers are little people with big emotions, and I know that we see that quite frequently. Play gives them a chance to explore and express their emotions and practice managing them. Through play, we help toddlers in early years understand what they're feeling and why. They get frustrated maybe when they can't have a toy that they want. They get frustrated about taking turns and sharing. But again, we're teaching them. We help them to co-regulate and manage their emotions, and we help them develop resilience, and by that, autonomy. I actually do just want to point one thing out here. This one picture of the 3 boys, they're playing soccer, and I actually asked them to stage this photo for me. They're actually not fighting or in any conflict. But why I wanted to show this picture is it's still important that when children get into difficulty, as adults, we still have to be there to help them, right? We're still showing them and we're still helping them. We don't let them just solve their social conflicts all by themselves until they've got the skills to do so. And so as an adult, we teach them to share and to take turns. And we also model and remind them how to play safely. So children love playing with us, learning with us, and we do things that interest them and excite them, and we follow their choices and ideas. But we do so without taking over. We're kind of like the quiet observer. So we give children time to play on their own. We let them have fun. We let them take risks. Sometimes they're going to get hurt. Sometimes things will break. Things can happen unexpectedly. That's okay, because that's life. So when they do get hurt or they're overwhelmed, we validate their feelings and we say, yeah, I see you're sad. Your toy's broken. It's okay. We can fix it. It's okay to be sad. Mummy and daddy sometimes feel sad. It's okay to feel frustrated. So we're really teaching them to understand those feelings, to name those feelings. And don't try to fix the emotion to make it go away. We nurture, we comfort, and we soothe, and then we celebrate success by saying, you did it all by yourself. An emotion is central to development and brain development. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage emotion in self and others. Emotional intelligent people are confident and are often leaders. And this is what we're always doing when we validate the feelings of our children and don't try to fix the emotion. Because when children can regulate and respond positively to their emotions, we are supporting them and we're providing them with the toolbox to become resilient. And in this way, they become autonomous and learn how to do things independently. So we are constantly modeling boundaries and emotions and consent, agreement, interpersonal and intrapersonal skills, because the more we model that we are emotionally regulated, not always easy, I know, we are helping children deal with their problems and conflict. We're showing them how to deal with problems and with conflict and how to do things by themselves. And again, just remember, we still have to validate, and we still need to sometimes intervene to help them. So for older children, we can respond similarly, but we can start using more language. We can say to them, yeah, I agree, it's hard. It's hard when you do this. Sometimes homework is hard. It's okay to try and do things that are hard. We want to encourage our children to try things that are hard. Yeah, sometimes things are frustrating. Teach the child to say, I can't do it yet, but I will be able to if I keep practicing. Again, talk about and help them manage their feelings and deal and respond to their emotions, and help them find the words to express their emotions. So they're learning that they're frustrated, they're embarrassed. Again, try not to fix the emotion. Encourage and praise. You took your time. You persisted. You took responsibility and you did it all by yourself. Yeah, you can do things that are hard. We respond. We allow for mistakes. We allow for failures. And yes, I know it's hard to see our children fail, but they do need to fail because they need to be able to get back up, to try it again, so they can become resilient and they can become autonomous. They need to know what their strengths are and also their weaknesses. They can't be perfect at everything. We need to problem solve together. So with your child, yeah, how can we fix that together? Don't try to fix it for them. Say, okay, so what is the problem? All right, let's think about some possible solutions to this. Help them figure it out. Try not to do it for them, and then praise for finding the solution. So as parents and teachers, we are always there to support and coach. When children develop autonomy, they develop self-confidence, they become resilient, and have a great toolbox of skills to bounce back, to get back up again, to achieve, to have success and flourish. So stand back, let them try, let them do things that are hard. Use the gradual release model. Show me, help me, let me. I'll do it. We'll do it together. Now you do it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. This is great. While you were talking, I was thinking about, I always bring my own personal experiences to this. And when you were talking about gradual release of responsibility, I was thinking about the other day, my little girl, she was about to dress up and put her shoes on, and I was in a rush, and I was like, oh, you gotta do it faster. So I ended up doing it myself. I didn't let her do it, and it is important. Sometimes they're gonna make mistakes. She's gonna switch the left to the right, and then the shoes.
Yes.
And somehow she's not going to feel well about it, and then she's going to learn what she has to think about and while wearing her shoes. This is wonderful. This is training for parenting as well.
Well, it is, and I'm actually going to admit I was probably I was a bad helicopter parent as a teacher because I always wanted my kids' homework to be right, so I would jump in. But eventually, they actually said to me, let me do it. let me
And
do it, because it means so much more when they do it on their own. They have to be able to do things on their own and to make those mistakes and not always do as well as they want to. And it's hard when they don't do as well as they want to, but that's how we build their resilience so that they can face the world and be successful, which is what we want.
That's right. I have 3 questions that they're all related to what we have just talked about. Maybe you have answered them already, but it's going to be great because we're gonna highlight these questions on this matter. Why is it important that we allow our children to do things independently?
Yeah. Well, again, independence develops confidence. And if you think about, your children, and when you see them doing something that they have done all by themselves, such as putting on their shoes and putting on their socks, or doing some project all by themselves, you actually see the glow and the pride on their face because they have done it all by themselves. And that is what we want.
And they also learn the path to learning, right? Because you gotta try.
Absolutely.
You fail,
Yes.
you will, and you get better. You get better.
You will get better. It's all about that. Yes.
And the second question: so, how do I respond to my child who is frustrated, saying that he or she cannot do their homework or an activity?
Oh. Mm-hmm. Because I think for children, that's their first response often, I cannot do it. So if they're older, well, you can't do it yet, might be a response. But if they're really frustrated, we have to give some time. Say, that's okay. It's okay. Take some time. Let's take a little break here. But if it's something that they perhaps have to get done for school the next day, give them time, give them a break and say, okay, perhaps, we can work on this together. Let's see if we can work on this together. How about I try reading the question and then perhaps you can try answering. But again, what we need to do is let children know that they can't be perfect at things right off the top, that they have to make mistakes, because again, that's how we learn. But we have to try. We have to try those things that we find hard. If they're having total meltdowns over it, then sometimes you might want to take a little bit of a longer break. Absolutely. But then always keep coming back to that. Yesterday you kind of really just cried about this, but let's figure this out again when they're calmer.
That's good. That's supporting and making them feel better about it and facing it as well.
Yes,
that's true. I was while you were answering this question, I was thinking about my boy. He likes drawing, and once he was looking at a photo, and he was trying to draw the same thing he was looking at, and then when he finished, he started crying, and I came talk to him. I was like, "Hey, why are you why are you crying?" And then he said, I'm not a good drawer. I don't know how to do it. And I was like, you know what? This person that drew this took a long time to do it and practice a lot. So you should try again. And then he tried them a few times, and then I had forgotten about it. Then I don't know, 2 weeks later, he came to me. He was proud of the drawing he had just done, and then it was the same one that he was trying days before. And he was just happy because, I got better. You said I would get better, and I got better because I tried. And then so he had redone it several times until he actually got to a point that he was happy about the outcome. So it was fun to see. That was the glowing that you were talking about earlier.
Yes, absolutely.
And the third and last question: so how do I work with my children when they're making math or spelling mistakes?
Mm-hmm. Well, look, learning is about making mistakes. And it's actually what you were just saying about your son and the drawing, because he practiced and he kept practicing and he kept trying. And the more he practiced, the better he became. So we still have to allow our children to make mistakes, because it might take them 1 or 2 or 3 times to get things perhaps right, but it might take them many times. And we have to help them understand that, as you said, for people to do things well, for the best hockey players in Canada, for the best soccer players in Brazil, they have worked really hard to get there. So sort of to bring it back, that if you're noticing that your child seems to be making a lot of mistakes in their homework, well, we don't want to overcorrect them, because if we keep overcorrecting them, the child is going to feel really bad about themselves and stop and shut down. And we don't want that, because they will never have autonomy. But what we might say is, oh, okay, let's have a look at this one question here. All right, I'm wondering about this here. What do you think? And sort of getting them to notice maybe one or two mistakes. And then, hey, look at that, you fixed it. So again, we're constantly, to me, it's a juggle of building that self-confidence, but also helping them see their mistakes. It's about recognizing those strengths and those weaknesses. And then in that way, we build that confidence, their independence. And one thing I am going to say, I mean, for parents, this isn't easy for us either, because we sometimes just want to get it done. But ultimately, we want to think about, okay, how do we want our children to be? How do we want them to be? So if we can always keep that in our perspective, you will. Well, I know you always support them. You always support them to be the best that they can be. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. While you're talking about this, we always tell parents at Maple Bear, whenever we have meetings and we have the opportunity to do that, we focus on the process a lot.
Yes.
And we don't want them just to get the right answer right away, because they got to learn how. Well, what is the path to that? Like, well, what do I have to do? What's the line of thought? That's why it's a lot of hands-on. It's a lot of. I saw that you showed in your presentation about the children that they learn through playing, and even though when they get older, they still learn through their experiences, and that this is very important for Canadian education, for Maple Bear, and that's how you become a lifelong learner. You know the process of learning.
Yes.
And
that's what it's all about.
That is all about.
That is really what it's ultimately all about, for sure. Yes.
Always learning. Ms. Jane, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for
great pleasure.
I bet everyone's going to love this. They're loving it already. And then I'm just going to say a few words in Portuguese. É prazer. Muito obrigado, Ms. Jane. Esse é evento que é para assistir e reassistir. I'm saying that this is something that we have to watch and rewatch, so we can keep constantly keep improving as parents, and also with the staff, with Maple Bear, understanding that making mistakes sometimes it's okay. We want them to learn and to excel, but there's a way for that. E a gente sabe qual que é esse caminho, né, de alcançar. Então, muito obrigado. É um prazer que você tenha uma ótima estadia aqui conosco nessas semanas que você vai estar com a gente. E eu me despeço. You want to say a few words before we turn this up?
Well, I'm just excited to continue working with everybody here at Maple Bear. It's been a great first week and a half, and I'm excited for the next 3.5 weeks. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.